I want to talk about Michelangelo. I mean, this guy fascinates me. And, you know, man, Michelangelo, just the name itself, has been used in songs, rap lyrics. And Michelangelo itself means to create or to be creative. It's become a slang term because everybody knows what Michelangelo did. But you know what amazes me? You know, at the age of 26, he was already famous. So by the time 1501 came, he was already famous. Very well paid. But someone like him, this is what you don't hear about. This is what people don't talk about. Is the mentality Michelangelo had to have. Because he accepted a challenge that someone obviously wanted to challenge his creative ability, even though he was already a famous sculptor, artist. Someone challenged him to carve out the statue of David. And so he accepted that challenge at 26 years old, already accomplished. And he was like, okay, got it. Let's do it. And so he took him 2 years of constant work. He literally, I think it got unveiled in 1504. He started in 1501-ish, somewhere around in there. And the mentality that it took for him to chisel on some marble. We're not talking building something from wet clay and you're building up to something. He's taking a block of marble and carving it down to something. And the mentality that he had to have, day in, day out, the same thing, chisel, 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 chisel. He didn't have no battery operated power tools to help him do any of that. He had to do it a chisel at a time. The Sistine Chapel, 5 years to complete that. Hanging up on scaffolding way up in the Sistine Chapel, painting figures. 5 years of consistency. But he knew what he had inside of him was greater than the obstacle that was in front of him. Listen to me. Your mindset creates your mood. And when your mood sucks, when you're always down, when you're always woe is me, oh my God, it's Monday. You know, that's your mindset. And so it creates your mood. And you wonder why things are like they are? Michelangelo had to see the finished product in his mind before he started looking at this giant block of marble. Listen to me. I love the concept of the mindset of Michelangelo, the tenacity he had to have, the naysayers. The reason why through history it was called a challenge, obviously somebody didn't think he could do it. You can't tell me there weren't some bets being made. Like, man, this dude ain't gonna finish this, man. He's good, but he's not gonna be able to do this sculpture. It was presented to him as a challenge. But he knew inside of here, all his small victories, all his small accomplishments that made him the famous sculptor that he was at that time, taking on that challenge made him even more famous. He became legendary. But he took all the small victories that he made. And you have to learn to do that with your life. I know things can be hard. I know it can be challenging. I know when there's more month than there is money. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to scramble for change, to make sure you can go in and pay your bills. Man, I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to not be able to buy groceries. I know what it feels like to not want to ask for help. Because of pride, because of ego. That's my fault. But I was still that way. And I forgot about the small victories. All the things I had come through. All the achievements I had done. All the lives I had touched. And then when I start getting into my treasure chest and realizing what I accomplished, man, I realized what God said. Man, there's nothing impossible for me. See, that's the Most High speaking. There's nothing impossible to you. All things are possible. Come on, all things. And it's not a magic wand. You can't just sit around and pray and live. You want to live by miracle after miracle, man. That's a rough life. Because you have to learn not only to pray, but to put it to work. You can't just meditate and do nothing else. When you want to manifest things in your life, you've got to change your mindset. You have to see beyond your current circumstances, that mound of debt, the thing that seems insurmountable in your life. Maybe it's your education. Maybe you got a criminal record. Maybe you've been divorced 2-3 times. You know, maybe things have happened to you. But that doesn't make things impossible. You just have to allow to see yourself differently on the inside. You have to learn to bring yourself up to a new level in your thinking. Change your frequency in order to become more powerful. So create that mindset. Realize that there's nothing impossible. If you're watching this, that means you're alive. So you woke up this morning. Maybe you paid off a small bill. Victory. Maybe you handled somebody doing you wrong and you took the higher road. Victory. You know, maybe you saw someone that was homeless. You're hurting for money, but you gave them money. Victory. See, all this stuff adds up. You started reading a book. You got a membership at a gym. Victory, victory, victory. So you accumulate that and then you use that to build yourself up. To know that there's nothing you can't accomplish. So I just want to encourage you today. Man, realize Michelangelo didn't have to make the statue of David. He took that upon a challenge for himself. He didn't care what nobody thought. That was a challenge to him. And so you have to get out there and make things happen. Realize, add up your victories, write them down, post them up, put them in places you can see them all the time. And realize, man, you got more inside of you. And just like that block of marble, that's how each one of us are. And out of that block of marble, he sculpted a statue. What in your life do you need to start chipping away at? There's a you inside of you that has not experienced this world yet. And that's what you have to understand. The you that you need to become is in here. But you got to chip away at some pain. You got to start forgiving some people. You need to start chipping away at some small bills. You need to start reading a book. Maybe take a class. Get online. Start chipping away and sculpting a new you for this year. Change who you are. People will never recognize you. Because not only can you change physically, but you can change mentally. And they can sit down with you and go, man, you sound so different. You actually sound happy. I actually want to hang around you. I want to introduce you to people. Because you have such a different mentality. So become legendary in your life. Leave a legacy for people to see what you accomplished in spite of what you were facing. Have an amazing day. Thank you.